This is the 21st century India, the fourth largest economy in the world and growing. But this modern growth is being built by biblical means, with a humble donkey taking the strain. In suburban Delhi alone, more than 3,000 donkeys transport bricks and sand from factories to building sites, 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. It's back-breaking work, and to Western eyes, cruelty beyond compare. But these are India's slumdogs, desperately poor people whose only means of living is by working their donkeys to death. Changing attitudes on animal welfare here is near impossible, but a British couple is determined to try. Meet Jean and Bob Harrison. Travellers since the swinging 60s, it was India that stole their hearts.
Yes.
And along with it, the plight of its donkeys.
Deep down I'm an old softie. Yeah.
I love how they eat. They eat so nicely.
Now they want to create a refuge near Delhi, educating owners in modern animal husbandry.
Children, especially the children and women, banging it to make it work harder. Bye, Saab. Don't worry. Tonight your donkey will be safe with your friends. This is a young chap concerned about his donkey. Every time I meet you, I give you my phone number.
Their goal is a better life for donkeys and owners alike.
It's the dog bite.
But with money enough for just 1 year, can they change ancient attitudes and free this beast of burden from its life of neglect?
She's very, very determined.
And I just said they need help.
Oh dear. Can't find it whatsoever.
He watches television every night, this donkey.
Or is it an impossible dream?
Now we've lost our vet, and now we've also lost a place where we bring our donkeys. So that's 2 tragedies, really.
In the suburbs of North London, Bob and Jean are preparing to leave the comforts of the UK. They're going to spend the next year in India, helping save the Indian donkey. They've sacrificed their own home for their missions to India, and they're living with family.
This is our youngest daughter's house. We have got a place of our own in Essex. We've got a cottage there, but we let it out, you see, because that's the only way that we can afford to rent a house in India.
Before they retired, Jean and Bob used to work for the diplomatic corps, and it was during a posting in India that they first started helping the Indian donkeys.
That's a lovely picture of the donkey.
Gandhi said that a country's morals are judged by the way it treats its animals.
10 years ago, Jean had major surgery for a brain tumour. She was warned that she could lose her speech, her mobility, or her life, but she survived it all.
When you've almost died, life becomes different to you. You seem to think, I'm not worried about nice houses and nice cars. I want to do something really good and helpful. I've always liked animals.
They've been to India before, organising a house and transport, but now they want to go full-time.
Excuse me, is it enquiries in here or around the corner? That's yours, Mrs. Harrison.
Thank you.
12 months multiple. It looks as though we can stay up until next year without worrying to have to buy 2 tickets to come back at Christmas. So we save ourselves about £1,200, which is nice, out of our own pockets. So that's great, yeah, very, very happy.
They're going to be leaving behind their family, their country, and everything they enjoy.
I must have started off singing here around about 1972, performing as a strolling minstrel. This chappie in red and green tights. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London town. Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind.
Their last job before they leave is to check in on a British donkey sanctuary.
Bob Harrison, G,
G, nice to meet you.
They want to model their operation on standards like this.
Oh, you know.
Donkeys have a special place in British
You
hearts.
haven't had one, come on.
There's about 10,000 donkeys in the UK.
Yeah.
They're actually highly in demand. Since the film Shrek,
Really?
people have been importing them into the country from overseas. So they're actually really, really in demand. Everybody thinks it's fashionable to have a donkey. Hello, darling. She's 30 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
30 years old.
Our oldest donkey is 42.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have an on-site vet here, or?
For two pensioners with no veterinary training, setting up an operation like this in India will be the biggest challenge of their lives.
Butterflies in the tummy, as usual. I'm always nervous. She never is.
This is 21st century India, and this is what the Harrisons will have to deal with for the next 12 months. Jean and Bob have arrived at their house south of the capital, Delhi, but there's no time for jet lag.
The donkey mein hai, donkey bimar hai, yeah? Bola, yeah? Sector Pentalis. Yeah, hello. Kya baat hai? Yeah, okay. Hum aayenge. Yeah, okay, aayenge. Okay, ठीक है, yeah. It's got a serious nose infection. So we just have to go and see what I mean. Now it's 17:30, 5:30. Only got about an hour's worth of light left.
The Harrisons make their rounds in a donated van, which they converted into an animal ambulance. This is the harsh reality of the slumdog's world, and they're going to be a tough people to win over.
I think he's been drinking. It's quite strange because when they're sober, you ask them to hold a donkey. They won't hold it. When they have a few drinks, then their fingers are all over the place. Mind my things.
If Fiona doesn't want his donkey treated, there's nothing Bob can do.
I don't know what he's done now. No, I'm going to leave it today. I'll tell them I'll leave it today. Listen, Verinda, tell them, no, I'm going to leave it today because these guys have been drinking. They can't handle their donkeys today, and I'm not going to do it because it's not safe. I can do it next time.
Their right-hand man in India is vet, Dr. Barinder.
Yeah, because of these bits, they cause these type of wounds over here.
He's a dog vet, but has been helping the Harrisons treat local donkeys since their last visit.
I don't know about ABC of donkeys. So she taught me everything about the welfare of the donkeys, and she supported me by giving lots of books about donkeys. She supported me, and I was so grateful about her. It's a good atmosphere, working in a team, me, Bob, Jean, and we don't care that the thing is that I'm a doctor, I'm a veterinary surgeon, and I should have an ego problem with working with them. I don't have like that. Good boy, good boy.
Jean and Bob are not vets. They pick up knowledge as they go along. Without Dr. Barinder's unpaid contribution today, animals like this would go untreated.
This is chronic. mean, that is awful. You'll probably find this, see the infection coming out there? And, well, Dr. Barinda will be able to do hopefully a good job on this one, but it takes a long, long time. This is in the cart which carries the bricks.
The Slumdog stable owners don't realise that working an animal in this much pain is counterproductive.
It's been very rarely that we've seen anyone who's shown any real love for a working animal. It's a work machine.
So the thing is that this animal will feel pain. So I want to get rid of pain.
A healthy animal works harder, lives longer, and earns more money for its owner. But in these poverty-stricken slums, it's a tough message to get across.
This is catch-22, isn't it? This is a question. You just keep hoping by keep going all the time and doing it. Now and again, you do get an owner and they say thank you. And they tell our doctor, they tell him and Indy, they say, well, these people come and they come every single day. They've done this to my donkey or my mule. They've done it and now it's better. And I thank them for it. And when you hear that, you think, oh yes, that's just one. It's worth it.
Treating the animals is the easy part. Getting the owners to protect their living assets is a whole different challenge.
Oh. How many did that? He's got eyes, problems. Oh dear. Yeah, but how would you like to carry that on your back? Got a soft kernel. Oh, he's saying he's probably been drinking as well. See, they think it's funny, and this frustrates me so much.
The children take up a stick and whack it, you know, because they see their parents do it, you see. So even from a young age, you see, even little toddlers, they pick up a stick and they hit the donkey.
7 donkeys here, 6 need attention. You poor thing.
Bob documents all the injuries and calls it a night. They need to get some rest. Tomorrow is when the real donkey work begins. With no shelter of their own, the Harrisons started bringing donkeys to Javashram Veterinary Hospital. They have to pay for the animals' treatment, but for Bob, it's worth it.
When you've helped the donkey, you see that something else is saying, thanks. Yes. Deep down I'm an old softie. Yeah.
I love how they eat. They eat so nicely. Don't you, eh?
These donkeys have a reprieve from their former life of back-breaking labour, but it's a drop in the ocean.
Well, let's put it this way. You've got an average of about 20 or 30 donkeys on every site. We must have about 50 or 60 work sites. 60 times 20 or 30, what's that? A couple of thousand, getting on for that.
That's 2,000 local donkeys that are waiting for medical treatment. Bob and Jean need to get out on the donkey beat.
Go away. Don't break it. We're now coming to an area in the new shopping mall sites where there are kept about 40 donkeys which are in appalling conditions. Almost every day we come there's a new case to be dealt with, whether it be sore backs, wounds under the girths, bad feet, and we've had to admit about 6 donkeys to this site into hospital, and only one has really survived. Donkeys are behind here. How are you? Ah, the donkeys are in all this mess. There's feces there, rubbish, toxics, and those lot over here, you have to get somehow balance.
Many of the donkeys are hobbled. They've had their legs tied together to prevent them from running off.
These hobble ropes cause problems there. See, this one is already healed, now it's starting to rub again. See, probably under this one there's going to be there's a scab there, but if you wash that up, you probably have something like that with infection in it. And they walk around in the wild. They walk onto the highways, onto the roads, fast roads. They can be injured by vehicles. And then they can get tangled up. One pulls one way, one pulls the other. Could cause a nasty accident.
The first donkey they find has a vicious injury to its back legs. Their volunteer vet, Dr. Barinder, takes a closer look.
All the muscles has been, it's bacterial infection is still out there. It's a suppurative one.
There is only one thing that could inflict a wound like this, and for once, it's not man-made.
It's the dog bite.
So we think there may be a pack of dogs going around attacking donkeys for some reason. Yeah, that's what he said. That's what the children said to me. There were 3 donkeys altogether. This one, 2 more, and one of them they killed and ate the donkey.
If it can be treated right now or immediately, then it can be taken care of.
While Bob calls for a truck to take the donkey to a shelter, Jean is trying to find a donkey she's called Dusty Miller, owned by a notoriously cruel stable operator next door.
There's a very weak one, and it's got a big lump on its face. Dusty Miller. He isn't here though.
He has
Sold it?
Who?
Sold it?
There's no muscles over here.
With the one?
He could hardly walk.
Who to?
And we've been noticing that the lump over here, no, it wasn't thick, it was very weak.
I don't believe it. He said it's gone free.
The owner tells us that in one respect he sold it, and in another respect he'd let it go, so we don't know what the true story is.
Dusty Miller's vanished, and it's down to Dr. Barinder to intervene.
It's very poorly.
Bring it tomorrow.
Jean was right. Dusty Miller hasn't been sold. The owner insists that Dusty has been taken to another building site. So, who's that?
Oh, excuse me, Dr. Brenda, there's the donkey.
Which one?
That's the poorly donkey. That's Dusty Miller. We know these donkey owners. If they think you want to take a donkey away, whether it's only for treatment or to keep it, they always hide them.
Dusty looks weak and thin, but Bob's priority is getting the dog attack victim to the shelter as quickly as possible before it goes into shock.
Bye, Sab. Don't worry. Tonight your donkey will be safe with your friends.
But his friend has waved his magic wand, and once again, Dusty Miller is nowhere to be seen.
I can't find it whatsoever. It's just absolutely amazing. 5 minutes, gone.
The thing is, he has just sent it free.
I know, but he's got no cover and it's cold.
The guy doesn't seem to care at all.
The donkey you took the photograph of is now gone.
There's a big lump like that.
Bob's patience is starting to wear thin.
He's not, he was here 5 minutes ago.
The owner finally agrees to hand over Dusty Miller in the morning. if the Harrisons agree to return a donkey they have of his at the shelter.
I told him, unless you let me take this donkey because it's ill, it cannot work, you can't have your other donkey back. I said, we'll do a swap. So he agreed.
Bob is still not happy.
Why should I come in the morning at your convenience? I'm giving you free medical treatment, look after your donkeys. Yes. The donkey was here 5 minutes before. If you can't be honest with us.
What I'm saying is, we come here first, we see the donkey, we take the donkey, then we bring the donkey back.
Well, I'm afraid seeing is believing.
Yes.
The Harrisons rise early, hoping they can finally track down the desperately ill Dusty Miller.
The donkey owner has suggested it could be grazing somewhere. So we have a hunch that it may be on some nearby parkland where the donkeys are often taken for some exercise and grazing.
The owner has arranged a rendezvous, but he's proved unreliable in the past.
Promised by the owner of the weak donkey that the animal would be tethered this morning between 9 and 11.
This is Dusty Miller. This is Dusty Miller.
Lo and behold, there's the donkey lying in the dust, in the sun, no water, and so weak it seemingly he is unable to stand. A pack of 10 dogs came nosing around it, and we were getting very worried that they might attack the donkey because obviously it can't defend itself because it's lying on the ground, seemingly quite weak. Hello, Ram Ramji. Ready now, are you? You got a push here.
Yes, and free.
See how skinny he's gone? He's weak, isn't he? When we got here, we asked him where the donkey was. He said, eating grass in the park. This is what they call the park. The donkey was just lying here. He hasn't moved. So he isn't eating grass.
But at least Jean and Bob can tend to his illness.
Eyes are running, his nose is running, but his back legs are very weak. So, and you see he's got this terrible growth on there. It's very hard. Had that a long time.
The desperately ill Dusty Miller needs to get back to Javashram, and fast.
There we go. Okay.
The owners only handed over Dusty Miller because he wants one of his other donkeys back.
He's already been to the hospital, so he knows it's fit. We were rather cautious about bringing the donkey back because he's already lost 4 donkeys over the last 6 or 7 weeks because of malnutrition, what have you. And so we were rather reluctant bringing a donkey back to him if he's going to allow that to become sick as well.
He just worked and worked and worked. And they just carry on, all through the pain. It's the only time a donkey will ever give up is when it can't do anymore and it lies down. And you know then, that's it. And I just said, they need help.
Right, there you are. Good donkey, yeah? Finger donkey.
The Harrisons need to get Dusty Miller back on his feet. Then he's given a blood test and a bath.
Yes.
While trusty vet Dr. Berinda treats the growth on the donkey's face, Jean and Bob must stick to their part of the bargain
Where are you now, donkey?
and return a donkey they've called Fred.
No donkey back.
I really don't want to take it. I just hate the place it's got to go. But you see, he wouldn't have let us have this donkey if we hadn't taken this one back. And this donkey is healthy now.
The Harrisons always return healthy donkeys back to their legal owners, but it's never easy. They're about to face up to the most heartbreaking part of their work.
Yeah, I'm trying to locate the donkey which needs to go back in place of the one we just brought in. Hello, you boys. Right. No, that's not the one. Ah. Oh. I hope they're not taking the bell off. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Okay, he's going back home. Right, said Fred. That's what name he gave him. It's the same owner. Well, that one be my hair. This one now Tika hair. So this one in, this one out.
Donkeys are herd animals, and these two have worked side by side.
There you go. Yeah, you know who it is, don't you? Yeah. They know who they are. Come on then. Take you off.
Fred was brought in on their last visit with a displaced shoulder blade, but Jean and Bob have nursed him back to full health.
Come on. You didn't want to go back to work. Come on, babe. Oh. You're choking on carrots because you're greedy. Oh. And if there's one sign of him being maltreated again, back in the vehicle. Back here.
Fred's rest and recuperation is over. From now on, he'll have to work 8 hours a day, 7 days a week.
These owners, they call you out. It's a really bad wound. Next day you go and the donkey isn't there. Where's the donkey? Oh, it's okay. And you know it isn't okay. It's a little better, but it isn't okay. And the donkey's gone. And oh, that really, really makes you mad.
Back at the building site, the Slumdog Donkey owners are suspicious.
Come on. Take that off. Keep warm. Come on. Garum. Come on. You're a donkey owner.
Come on, you're a donkey owner.
They think it's going to cost them money, but the Harrisons do this for free.
I'm telling him to keep the collar on. The donkey has got a name. It's called Fred. I told him to keep it on. We recognise him, you see.
Fred can arm hair.
Right, and Cupra, night time, yeah?
Yes. At Shamko, Mausum, Thunder hair. Is he Cupra me hair?
Yes, right? Yes. I'll take care of him. Don't overload. Yeah, but you see, overload, it will go again. Now he's alright. Alright, he's better now, see?
I'm very happy.
We just hope you look after it, that's all. Doubt it.
Doubt it.
On his track record that he's worked 4 donkeys until they dropped or allowed them to become severely injured.
And they've died, haven't
They died. It's pretty bad.
Anyway. Unfortunately, that's how it has to be.
The Harrisons are up against a whole different culture and a whole different outlook.
They laugh at you. They think, why is she doing that to a donkey? And I say, well, this donkey is your friend. He is your livelihood. He makes the food for you to eat. He makes the money. He's your friend. I'll give him a little pat and say thank you for help, for doing it. And then sometimes the children will start to pat it.
One of my ideas was to have an educational officer. Not to go to the donkey sites so much as to teach the kids how to become tomorrow's better owners.
Back at Javashram, there's some good news. Dusty Miller is responding well to Dr. Burinda's treatment.
We'll give him supportive treatment. We'll give him the treatment which will check the infection, and we'll give him support to get him all right as well, because it needs something as a support treatment and antibiotic therapy as well.
So happy because this little donkey, I mean, as you can see, it's so skinny, and well, it would have just died. It would have just lain down. Maybe dogs would have got that one too. We don't know, but
been an improvement because he's able to stand up on his own.
When he got here, he couldn't get up on his own.
For a week.
We just have to help him up. Well, now he is able to get up. So that is some improvement. So that's good.
But there's no shortage of sick donkeys around India's capital, and together with Dr. Burinda, the Harrisons are a lifeline.
He's very good as our Dr. Burinda.
Yeah, Dr. Burinda gave up some of his time today. He should have gone to a family wedding, but he's given up the time to come and help us with this.
Just hold it.
All right.
Yeah, hold it.
He's our faithful doctor.
He said won't die.
But no matter how hard they work, they're fighting a losing battle.
Has he died? When? He's dead. When did he die? You feel rather sort of helpless in a way. You try and make the animal comfortable, but when that kind of thing happens, you do really feel quite helpless, don't we?
We all have the same dream. If we could have a sanctuary where all the old donkeys, the blind donkeys, and have a doctor like our doctors. We've got Dr. Burinda, who really cares about the animals, and he always wants to learn.
But Dr. Burinda is an unpaid volunteer, and it's a situation that can't go on forever.
Hello, Jelly. How are you?
At his vet practice in South Delhi, he's having second thoughts.
Thing is, because since I have a family responsibility as well, and I'm running my home, so the thing is that to get some money from after treating pets, I have to run my family as well. And Jean and Bob right now has no funding. Even when I go over there, it's a voluntary work.
All Jean and Bob's funds go on medicines for the animals. Labour and expertise are voluntary.
We don't get paid, you see. We don't want to get paid. Our payment is looking after the donkeys.
But animal compassion doesn't pay the rent, and Dr. Burinda's parents have told him to.
This is a difficult problem. Probably spend a few sleepless nights.
It's all politics, you see, and he hates it.
Yeah, I'm spending less time. I do agree with this, that I'm spending less time with the donkeys. But the thing is that it's at the same time, since I'm working, doing pets practice, so they need care as well. And for pets, I take my fees.
Well, he said, I can't come for a while because I've got to think things out.
The only reason why they've been convinced by the parents that they're doing a very silly thing in being involved in animal welfare is because the parents can't see any finance coming in. What's at Alice? 38?
Without any formal veterinary qualifications, the Harrisons must go it alone.
This is a young chap concerned about his donkey. He was obviously worried that we hadn't been for a couple of days to examine the donkey, but we had so much work to do. It was unfortunate we couldn't come either yesterday or the day before. So we had to make it sort of a priority to come and see this young fellow.
The boy's donkey is in a lot of pain, but there's only so much Bob can do.
It's more like a conscious growth, I think. I'm not using a glove here, I'm trying to keep this on with cotton. So I'm probably breaking all the laws, unfortunately. Every time I meet you, I give you my phone number. Have you got a pen? Pen, hey?
Their precarious venture could fall apart at any moment, and without qualifications, they're only allowed to give basic care.
We're not allowed to give antibiotics, you see. We can't give injections, only the doctors can. This is why it's hard. If we go to donkey site and the donkey's in pain, we want to help it by giving it an injection, a painkiller, and you see, I can't do it. I'm not allowed to. So therefore it's the donkey's best interest as it goes to hospital.
It must be the pain you're suffering all day long.
The only chance for these donkeys now is Javashram Veterinary Hospital, but in the recent months they've been overwhelmed.
That is already, the capacity is like.
Have you got any room for any more donkeys?
Room for more donkeys?
Yeah.
No, we are already having this capacity.
Jean wants to see for herself just how full Javashram has become.
And you can feel the heat as soon as you open these doors, like an oven in there. Look how hot it is. But you see?
This donkey is biting all the time because
Yeah.
it's female donkey.
Well, let them out then.
In close confinement, donkeys will fight and can seriously injure each other. Jean wants them splitting up.
Look, you see what's happening? Let the donkey get bites out, all right? Let the donkey get bites out then. Look, you see that's a female. See what happens, you see? There you are, he told you. It's getting a bit dangerous in here. You see, this is a problem. You can see how the little donkeys get hurt.
Last year, 6 donkeys were kicked to death in conditions like these. Jean doesn't want that to happen to the ones she's worked so hard to rescue.
This is Dusty Miller, isn't it, hey? Look at Dusty Miller, this is.
The Harrisons have rescued so many donkeys,
Yes.
they've become victims of their own success.
I agree that there's so many. There isn't room for them to move properly. It's like they're kicking each other all wrong, really, and there's just no room. Well, now we've lost our vet full time, and now we've also lost a place where we bring our donkeys. So that's 2 tragedies, really. So, yeah, we've got to think hard now what we can do.
The Harrisons' infrastructure may be collapsing around them, but so too are the overworked donkeys, and they can't afford to ignore a single animal. Bob's found a male donkey dumped at the side of the road.
Oh, it isn't the wound, no. There, it's got swelling there. All this mucus. It's a very bad case, so it's contagious disease to the donkeys, and we've got a lot on the sites at the moment. I had one a few weeks ago. I went to it and started, and he was a rattling cough. Started washing its nose, and it coughed, and just collapsed in my arms and died. Only about this age.
They would normally take a donkey this ill straight to Javashram, but it's full, and they've got a problem.
We can't put it in. He doesn't want any more donkeys. We've got this as it is.
Or 2
and we don't
donkeys, you've got to go
Yeah,
back.
we don't want to pass it on to the others, do we? Come on.
It's got a highly infectious nose disease and needs to be isolated. There's only one option left.
I think we're best to take it back to the house.
It'd be better on the front lawn.
Front lawn.
It's got grass to eat.
And close the gate so the dogs can't get in.
Yeah.
Their dream of a donkey shelter in India has been reduced to taking donkeys back to their front garden.
Okay. Thank you.
Take us back to the house. Put him on the front lawn for now. Wash him up. Clean his nose out. Give him some like a paracetamol thing to try and get the temperature down. Yeah. and then see how it goes on.
The donkey could have been lying there, ignored for days, but at least now someone's taking notice.
Come on, little puppy. Come on.
Back at their house in South Delhi, Bob first cleans the donkey's nose so it can breathe properly. Then he gives it a homemade pick-me-up, bread and maize grass. It's brought the donkey back from the brink, and he's making himself at home.
You're always learning on his job.
There's nowhere that we can take him. Jivashram don't want any more. There's nowhere.
I mean, this is what we're here to do, and it's a lost little soul, and hopefully he'll be, you know, happy again. Yeah.
For now, they have a new member of the family, and Jean has called him Andy.
Hello, Andy. Hello, baby.
Andy's transformation is remarkable.
I better close the door because he'll be in.
Staying with the Harrisons could have just saved his life.
Oh. He watches television every night, this donkey.
But they're no closer to getting their own animal shelter than when they started.
There's always people who want to give you land. That isn't the problem always. The problem is being able to pay for your workers and the donkeys and the food. It's all that kind of thing that takes the money.
Without money, a vet or a shelter, their project has ground to a halt. They're going to have to leave their donkeys behind and return to the UK to raise money.
We can't go back for a long time because what's going to happen to all the donkeys we're treating now. But we have to go back again.
That's the donkey I found.
The Harrisons were determined to spend a year in India setting up their donkey shelter. Having to go back early to raise more funds is a big disappointment.
We thought we would have been able to achieve a situation where we've got a really smooth, slick operation with maybe 2 or 3 in this area, with two or three mobile clinics run by good quality staff. And then we'd be able to say, okay, that's it, we've done our whack. Let's go back to England and still raise money, but for something we know is working well. For one reason or another, this hasn't worked out, and not totally our fault.
We could raise enough funds in England to be able to pay Dr. Brenda full time. Well, it would be absolutely wonderful because we'd just be able to move forward.
But before they go anywhere, they have to find somewhere to put their house guest. Andy the donkey needs to go back to his owner.
We took some photographs of him so that we can go round all the donkey sites and ask if he's their donkey. And if he is, once he's okay, he's better, they can have him back.
Jean's going to ask a local donkey owner if it's one of his.
Right. Let's go and see if it... Hello, I'm glad you're here. We have found a donkey that's ill. This is a donkey. This is what he got round his neck. Is he any of your donkey?
Your donkey 40 sector.
40 sector. Yeah, I know where that is. The guy there says he's from sector 40. I know that site. Just down here, we have to turn left. Right, you might know. Now, this donkey, yeah? He had this on. Is he one of your donkeys? No?
No.
He isn't one of yours?
No.
Oh, do you know where he might come from? What donkey size? No, it's not here. So they got it wrong.
But fate has yet to play a part. Javashram have bad news for the Harrisons, but good news for Andy.
One or two of the donkeys already in Javashram died, so there was a space, so we were able to put him there.
There's always the Ways and Means Act.
Back in England, Bob's getting used to the London traffic again.
In India, that guy would come straight out now. People are more sensible here, of course.
They're on the campaign trail. First stop is the nearby British Donkey Sanctuary.
It just makes me wish I could take a lump of grass home back with me and you know, let all our donkeys be able to graze and run free like this. Oh, it'd be wonderful.
Animal charities in the UK will often form an affiliation with ventures overseas. That will be the answer to Bob and Jean's prayers.
Have you had a good look round?
Yes.
What did you think?
We're just so jealous, really. Jealous for the green grass and the fencing. And
Time for the hard sell.
he was hitting a young horse with his 6-foot stake pole.
So many donkeys there.
Yeah, well, there's not many.
And that's how they
They
do
tether
it,
them.
They hold
And you see, when they're in the yank them, and it's up here,
Keep the flies off. Look, see? And this, then here. You see? There, look at that leg.
After a tough 3-hour presentation, they have a breakthrough.
Thank you very much. We'll see you again as soon as we can. A lot of encouragement. I think we're going to put us in touch with our senior vets. I mean, I've already said, even if not the vets, maybe some nurses or staff would like to come out and help us in the field if they can stomach it. And also at the shelter as well, they can go to Javashram and suggest improvements there for the animal welfare, the equine welfare. Also, we have the World Veterinary Service people. They've offered to send us some vets. But a lot of encouragement by people who are, you know, so dedicated themselves. But we've been able to show them a different aspect, and it's obviously got to their hearts.
With the possibility of veterinary support on the horizon, it's time to turn their attention to raising funds.
Well, we've just got this box as I bought back from India. You know, one or two things as I thought might go.
I mean, bearing in mind that they're bartering all the time. Can you have it for this? Can you have it for that? So, you know, I mean, these are mainly some old books, so I don't know what's.
But all the rest of it, our daughter's got on the store.
What's you selling these donkey prayers for, Verinia?
$4.99.
Their youngest daughter, Verinia, and her friend have been roped in to help raise money.
Has anybody been here?
Yeah, £1 made already.
It's paying off. One of the shoppers wants to sponsor them.
But anyway, I mean what I say, I will be sending some help. It won't be a lot, but it's a couple of hundred.
Thank you very much.
And I mean it.
Thank you. Well, keep in touch with you. Well.
Yeah, do.
Slowly but surely, the donations are coming in.
You know, we've already amassed £1,000.
But see, I did a lot of work sending out correspondence, and I made £3,500.
The generosity of the British public means they can fly back to India with new funding and try again.
This probably break which we didn't want in the UK. We probably needed it. We see it as a bit of godsend that we've been able to take a breath, because it's been very, very difficult.
After everything they've been through, all Jean and Bob can think about is getting back to the donkey work.
Well, ideally, we'd like to go back to where we were when we left in June, to be working on the donkey sites.
hopefully try and find somewhere where we can set up our own shelter. These are the ideal things we'd like to achieve. Every day has a shock in store for you, I'm afraid.
I'll never give up. As long as there's an animal out there, as we can help, we'll do it. No matter what.
The going won't be any easier for the Harrisons this time around, but with guardian angels like this, the Indian working donkey still has a fighting chance.
Really?
People have been importing them into the country from overseas. So they're actually really, really in demand. Everybody thinks it's fashionable to have a donkey. Hello, darling. She's 30 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
30 years old.
Our oldest donkey is 42.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have an on-site vet here? Or?
For two pensioners with no veterinary training, setting up an operation like this in India will be the biggest challenge of their lives.
Butterflies in the tummy, as usual. I'm always nervous. She never is.
This is 21st century India, and this is what the Harrisons will have to deal with for the next 12 months. Jean and Bob have arrived at their house south of the capital, Delhi, but there's no time for jet lag.
The donkey may hai, donkey bimar hai, yeah? Bola, yeah? Sector Pentalis. Yeah, hello. Kya baat hai? Yeah, okay. Hum aayenge. Yeah, okay, aayenge. Okay, ठीक है, yeah. It's got a serious nose infection. So we just have to go and see what I mean. Now it's 17:30, 5:30. Only got about an hour's worth of light left.
It's life of neglect.
She's very, very determined.
And I just said, he needs help.
Oh dear. Can't find it whatsoever.
He watches television every night, this donkey.
Or is it an impossible dream?
Now we've lost our vet, and now we've also lost a place where we bring our donkeys. So that's two tragedies, really.
In the suburbs of North London, Bob and Jean are preparing to leave the comforts of the UK. They're going to spend the next year in India, helping save the Indian donkey. They've sacrificed their own home for their missions to India, and they're living with family.
This is our youngest daughter's house. We have got a place of our own in Essex. We've got a cottage there, but we let it out, you see, because that's the only way that we can afford to rent a house in India.
Before they retired, Jean and Bob used to work for the diplomatic corps, and it was during a posting in India that they first started helping the Indian donkeys.
That's a lovely picture of the donkey.
Gandhi said that a country's morals are judged by the way it treats its animals.
10 years ago, Jean had major surgery for a brain tumour. She was warned that she could lose her speech, her mobility or her life, but she survived it all.
When you've almost died, life becomes different to you. You seem to think, I'm not worried about nice houses and nice cars. I want to do something really good and helpful. I've always liked animals.
They've been to India before, organising a house and transport, but now they want to go full time.
Excuse me, is it enquiries in here or around the corner? That's yours, Mrs. Harrison. Thank you. 12 months multiple. It looks as though we can stay up until next year without wanting to have to buy 2 tickets to come back at Christmas. So we save ourselves about £1,200, which is nice, out of our own pockets. So that's great, yeah, very, very happy.
They're going to be leaving behind their family, their country, and everything they enjoy.
I must have started off singing here around about 1972, performing as a strolling minstrel, this chappie in red and green tights. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London town. Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind.
Their last job before they leave is to check in on a British donkey sanctuary.
Bob Harrison, Jean, yeah?
Jean, nice to meet you.
They want to model their operation on standards like this.
Oh, you know.
Donkeys have a special place in British
You
hearts.
haven't had one, come on.
There's about 10,000 donkeys in the UK.
Yeah.
They're actually highly in demand since the film Shrek.
The Harrisons make their rounds in a donated van, which they converted into an animal ambulance. This is the harsh reality of the Slumdog's world, and they're going to be a tough people to win over.
I think he's been drinking. It's quite strange because when they're sober, you ask them to hold a donkey. They won't hold it. When they've had a few drinks, then their fingers are all over the place. Everybody gonna touch a donkey. Mind my things.
If Fiona doesn't want his donkey treated, there's nothing Bob can do.
I don't know what he's done now. No, I'm going to leave it today. I'll tell them I'll leave it today. Listen, Belinda, tell them, no, I'm going to leave it today because these guys have been drinking. They can't handle their donkeys today, and I'm not going to do it because it's not safe. I can do it next time.
Their right-hand man in India is vet, Dr. Barinder.
Yeah, because of these bits, they cause these type of wounds over here.
He's a dog vet, but has been helping the Harrisons treat local donkeys since their last visit.
I don't know about ABC of donkeys. So she taught me everything about the welfare of the donkeys, and she supported me by giving lots of books about donkeys. She supported me, and I was so grateful about her. It's a good atmosphere, working in a team, me, Bob, Jean, and we don't care that the thing is that I'm a doctor, I'm a veterinary surgeon, and I should have eaten.
This is the 21st century India, the fourth largest economy in the world and growing. But this modern growth is being built by biblical means, with a humble donkey taking the strain. In suburban Delhi alone, more than 3,000 donkeys transport bricks and sand from factories to building sites, 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. It's back-breaking work, and to Western eyes, cruelty beyond compare. But these are India's slumdogs, desperately poor people whose only means of living is by working their donkeys to death. Changing attitudes on animal welfare here is near impossible, but a British couple is determined to try. Meet Jean and Bob Harrison. Travellers since the swinging 60s, it was India that stole their hearts.
Yes.
And along with it, the plight of its donkeys.
Deep down I'm an old softie. Yeah.
I love how they eat. They eat so nicely.
Now they want to create a refuge near Delhi, educating owners in modern animal husbandry.
Children, especially the children and women, banging it to make it work harder. Bye, Saab. Don't worry. Tonight your donkey will be safe with your friends. This is a young chap concerned about his donkey. Every time I meet you, I give you my phone number.
Their goal is a better life for donkeys and owners alike.
It's the dog bite.
But with money enough for just 1 year, can they change ancient attitudes and free this beast of burden?